On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got your boy, Lydell Scruffy Beard Dinero, out here giving you guys Best of Bias topics from the last couple of weeks. Of course, we're in the sports equinox, like I like to call it. A lot of people call it. I didn't coin the phrase, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to take credit for it, but that's what we're in right now. So it's going to be a lot of sports talk. We got the NFL, NBA starting again. We got some college football, excuse me. WNBA Finals just passed, so we got to congratulate the winner of that. A lot of stuff to talk about. A little bit of cinema corner. We got Loki, 3 episodes. I don't think we talked at all about that yet. No guests to talk about it. It's gonna be me. We're gonna do it well though. We're gonna try to concisely give you a synopsis of the 3 episodes that come out so far, and then we may do a little bit of Gen V review. The boys spinoff that's out right now. I think it's about 6 episodes out now too. So talk a little bit about that. So we see if what you guys are watching, see what the temperature is. But sports packed, fantasy football, all that kind of stuff. You already know what it is. It's like the fifth week of the NFL. During the NFL season, I usually go week by week all the way to week 17. I pride myself on that and keeping everybody on track and up to date with, America's top watch sport. You know what I'm saying? So I got to keep you guys informed because I know y'all watching, I'm watching. LeBron James even doing sports takes and sports picks now. So there's a market for it. So I'm gonna get out here and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we talked about. Anyways, enjoy the podcast. Let me not to get too long on this intro because it's the intro, but let's get into it. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Actually, today is Saturday. It's a Saturday drop. Surprise. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Thank you for clicking on this podcast because you could be anywhere in the world. But let's get right to it. Where that theme song at? It's your boy. Yeah. It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
What up? It's your boy. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Friday. I said it again, it's Saturday. I'm recording on Friday though. It's a little change up. I know you guys are kind of with me. You guys are here for the curveballs, you know what I'm saying? When these come out on different days, you guys are cool with it. You guys are sticking with me, you know what I'm saying? Because if stuff comes up and it's tough, you know what I'm saying? It's just me and AKA, and it's tough with this two-man, I should say, operation going on, trying to get everything done and out for you guys on a timely manner in the what's the word I'm looking for? The quality and the effort that's put into. I want you guys to notice it. You know what I'm saying? You guys can see what AKA is doing with all the videos, upgrading all those. You know what I'm saying? Damo with the picture of the merch. Go get you some merch now. Hope you guys saw that. If you haven't, go check out the post on his Instagram, Damo Lee POV. He has a picture of one of the beanies that he just purchased. A bunch of those left. All kind of Best of Bias merch left, but anyways, you know what you're here for. It's time for some sports. Let's get right into it because there's a lot to talk about. So let's not waste no more time. We're going to start it right here with a disappointing game last week. You know, I got to start with the college. Oregon versus Washington, 7-8 matchup. I was really excited for this matchup, but you didn't really hear me talk too much about it because, man, I was nervous, bruh. It's the first real big matchup that Oregon had to play, real big test that we had to play that could put a damper on our run to making the college football playoff. Everybody was expecting a big one, a slobber knocker, if you will. And it was, man. Michael Penix and Bo Nix went at it. It was a great game. Great game. If you knew the score, if you saw the game, you knew how great of a game it was. The score ended up being 36-33, Washington winning. It was a crazy game, man, because me personally being an Oregon fan, over the years, some of our deficiencies have been in our secondary. We were DBU for a while, going back a bunch of years when we had a bunch of DBs come out, and with Seagon going to Patriots this year and performing like he was before he got hurt. There's a big reputation that Oregon trying to get their DBs, into the draft. A lot of players are getting to the draft now. So we're trying to become DBU/wide receiver U. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get some stuff going on our side again. But we thought this year, second year, Dan Lanning and his recruiting, that we would have what it takes to face not only the big boys in the Big 12, Big 10, SEC, but of course the people in our division or our conference, the Pac-12, the last year of it. We thought we'd be able to handle Washington. We know their passing attack was really good. Michael Penix and those receivers, Adonzi, McMillan, Polk, all out there putting up crazy numbers, putting up crazy points up against everybody else. So I thought, once they played against quality competition in the Pac-12, we'd be able to slow that down. But they ended up coming out being the truth. Oregon held their own for a while, though. We're able to get some stops on Penix in that offense. They were going back and forth for a while, but it looked like Oregon made the last stop to be able to, wind the game down. We made some questionable decisions, coaching decisions as far as clock management goes, play calling goes. Big time, we had 2 4th downs that we went for. I think one was in the red zone, one was just a fourth and like short. We went for in a questionable situation, and we didn't get it. Some say it could ultimately resulted in us losing that game because we did lose on a last second touchdown. We lost by 3 to Washington last second, like last second drive down the field, and Penix was able to put it in the end zone, the back of the end zone. Me personally, again, I think our team played as expected. Our players in the trenches were able to be bigger and better and handle Washington's players. We were able to get in the quarterback's face a little bit. Penix threw interception. We kind of gave him pressure that a lot of people didn't give him. But when it came down to it, it was our DBs being able to stop their receivers, and they weren't able to do it. Our transfer from Alabama, Kyrie Jackson, is raw. He's been doing it thus far this year, kind of holding down everybody's best receivers. But our other side receiver, I forgot who exactly it was. Florence. Jalil Florence, I think his name was, and I think he's only a sophomore, so he didn't have much experience as it is, and him going down and getting our third string corner in there kind of got us exposed against those really good receivers. It's like little routes that, just go routes. Like he would 27 and 40-yard touchdown passes, like just get past our DBs, and DBs wouldn't be in the right positions. And I don't know. It's not many times we'll actually face receivers of that caliber and a quarterback and offense of that caliber. And even though we did, we held our own. Like again, we didn't get smacked like a lot of these teams are getting smacked by Washington. Bo Nix in offense, Bucky. Some of the stats we had, Bucky was able to hold it down. The running back for Oregon, Bucky Irving, 22 carries for 127 yards, touchdown. Troy, of course, had 8 catches for 154 yards and a touchdown. Bo Nix, 33 for 44, 337 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Penix was just able to best them, 22 for 37, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. So we'll see him again. I know there's a gauntlet of teams we have to play in the Pac-12 to get to them in the Pac-12 championship, but I'm sure we'll get there. And maybe it'll decide who goes to the college football playoff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that we get another chance, another shot at the apple. And just because we lost this game doesn't mean we're down and out. We got Washington State next week. We just got to put up a good showing against them in Eugene, and hopefully Washington. Well, I don't know if I want Washington to lose necessarily. Maybe if they just keep winning, and when it comes down to it, we beat them in the Pac-12 championship, and we can just prove we deserve to be in the, national champion or the college football playoff, and that's how that's going to happen. But let's not talk too long on that because it was disappointing. But Oregon, I still believe in you. We still got this, boys. Just hopefully, we control our destiny. Win every game, win out, and just let the ball fall as it will. You know what I'm saying? Other games in college that were interesting. Colorado, man, losing to Stanford. Y'all know what we did to Stanford, 46-6, 42-6 or something like that. We beat Colorado just like that. We expected Colorado to put on a bigger showing because everybody knows, the primetime hype and the teams that they beat so far and the teams that they've been competitive with. We thought that they would actually, especially what they did against USC, that they would go out there and just run over Stanford. It was a gimme game. Maybe it was a trap game. But yeah, they didn't do too well. I mean, they firstly started off hot. They started off like they should, 29-0. After that, I don't know if they let their foot off the gas or what, but Stanford was able to come back and just beat them. Their receiver, number 13, I didn't get his name. I'm sorry, I should have wrote it down, but it was just dogging Travis Hunter. Almost had 200 yards, bro, just doing whatever he wanted to. I've witnessed firsthand how bad Stanford's quarterback is. He doesn't throw. He just quarterback sneaks like every play. And when he does throw the ball, he's not really good at throwing his receivers open. His receivers would be wide open. He just, for some reason, the ball just goes careening off their hands. But this game, I guess the intention of Prime being there and Colorado being, them being at Colorado and all eyes and TV, all being there, celebrities being there, encouraged those boys to play, and they just mounted a comeback and was able to come back and beat Colorado. Sador was able to go 33 for 48, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns and an interception. But the damage was done after losing, being up 29-0 and just them able to come back after last week, him flashing his watch to the Arizona fans by winning by 3 on a lucky field goal, not a lucky field goal, but a game-winning field goal. though they should have, throttled them. They should be throttling teams right now. I don't know what it is right now. Maybe they're just kind of playing and going off their own hype. Not working as hard as practice, but I know prime time is not going to go for that. They did just get a 4-star quarterback that committed to them over like Alabama and big name schools for next year or whenever Sador decides to go to the NFL. So yeah, it's gonna have to change, man. Especially if you want recruits to come over there and represent Colorado. If they see you losing to a bunch of bums, and they're just gonna wonder if that's what's gonna be like for their future. If they're actually gonna want to commit to coming there when they can go to anywhere in the country, being highly recruited, like the people that prime time is probably gonna get. But yeah, it's nothing but better teams are coming. The Stanford was supposed to be the gimme. They have UCLA. They have like a whole bunch of good teams coming up. Washington, Oregon State. So good luck, Coach Prime, but you needed that one, man. It was a bad showing. Speaking of bad showing, USC lost to Notre Dame 20-48. Notre Dame came in and just, I think Notre Dame was at home, but it just blew out USC. Caleb Williams had his worst game of his career, 23 of 37, 199, one touchdown, 3 interceptions. That defense is terrible out there in USC, man. USC boy, I don't know what they're gonna have to do to try to, hold on one second. Ooh, that was good. Sorry, I had to get a little drink in me. I don't know what they're going to do to try to win these games in the Pac-12 because they got Washington still. They got us and Autzen. So USC, I mean, they're not going to be able to run through Caleb Williams all the time because other teams are going to figure that out. Just shut down Caleb and be able to score as many points as you can, have a perfect game on offense, and you can beat USC. They fell all the way down to 18 now, losing to Notre Dame. They were at 10 at the time, but now losing to Notre Dame, yeah, they're falling to 18, and if they lose again, they're going to fall through rankings completely. And Caleb's going to have to make a decision now. Is he going to want to come and go to the NFL off this season, or try one more time and try to win the national championship at USC in the Big Ten before he actually decides to go to the NFL? Because he was talking crazy about how if a team that he didn't want to be at the beginning of the draft was there, then he wasn't going to go. He's only going to play for what? The Patriots, 49ers, like a bunch of crazy ass, stupid ass requests from a guy. I mean, I get it. He's a generational talent, but come on, guy, just get drafted and do what you're supposed to do. If you're generational like that, and the organization will believe in you, they'll put pieces around you that you need to be successful. Don't go try to pull a Drew Brees, Eli Manning. I don't know if it's gonna work for you like that. But yeah, that's all the college I got for y'all. Let's move into this NFL. Last week, we had NFL. Well, yeah, last week's NFL Week 6. I made some predictions. Let's go over those and see what I got right. Let's talk a little bit about the games. Thursday night game, we had Chiefs versus the Broncos. Well, it's not really much to talk about that. Broncos, they suck, man. They just suck. I don't know if they're going to make a change from Russell Wilson or not. But we are seeing a little lull in the Chiefs offense. This is a team that should have been blown out by the Chiefs, but the Chiefs continue to kind of play with their food and just kind of make it competitive with all the teams they're playing. Starting from week 1 when they played the Lions, though they didn't have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce. It just seems like from then on, it's still teams that should be blowing out, they're not blowing out. And, sometimes it takes lucky plays or Patrick Mahomes type, favoritism to get through games. And that shouldn't be, they're last year's champions. And just, not having they didn't have receivers last year, so this year shouldn't be so much different, but we'll see. They just got McCall Harmon back, so maybe that'll make a difference. But they did win 19-8, beating the Broncos, the lowly Broncos. That was a Thursday night football game. Moving us into Sunday, I think this game was in London, if I'm not mistaken. The Ravens were able to beat the Titans 24-16. I was right about this one. Lamar Jackson and company were able to get back on track, but we're still waiting for Odell Beckham and the offense to really click like it's supposed to with Todd Monken in the back there at offensive coordinator. It's kind of seeming like they're trying to make Lamar more of a pocket quarterback and make him prove that he's a pocket quarterback than really using what he's pretty much a weapon for and moving around and running around and making plays with his feet. Though longevity is something that you want to think about with running quarterbacks, he is able to, well, he's been hurt a little bit, but I think he's able to move in a certain way to where he can avoid as much contacts as possible. And he's like a Tyreek Hill at quarterback. Like, he's so quick and shifty with his moves. I feel like he's able to get in space, get down, or get out of bounds before anybody can hit him. But, if somebody does hit him, they're going to get a flag, and we'll see what happens from there. But, yeah, the Ravens were able to win and get back on the winning track. I think they're second place or they might be winning the division now. The Panthers lost to the Vikings. Panthers lost to the Dolphins. Dolphins smacked them boys 42-21. Miami staying on that tear, continuing to show that they are, the peak of the AFC and doing their thing over there, and they'll be the team to beat. I think it's probably going to be the Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins in the AFC championships. We'll see, because the Bills did put a smacking on the Miami Dolphins, and they're in the same division, so I don't think they'll both be able to be in the NFC championship. So we're going to see. But yeah, they were able to get that victory. I was right about that one and the Ravens game. Texans and Saints. The Texans were able to win 20-13, which I like to see. Anytime the Saints can take an L, I'm happy about it. CJ Stroud's looking like the truth out there, and I think he's going to continue to progress. I know the Panthers are probably wishing they took CJ Stroud instead of Bryce Young. Maybe this, the Texans are probably better organized with D'Amico Ryans as the coordinator, setting up the team, because he said it looks like he's made a bunch of good draft picks and he has the team going in the right direction, because they were a hot mess last year and they're winning a couple games this year. You know what I mean? As far as the Saints go, Derek Carr is looking terrible. It looks like all they're really able to do is check down on Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas looks like a shell of himself. He really just catches slants and really has no yak, to be honest. He's really slow. And then Chris Olave looks like he's on, I'll talk about the Thursday night football game that just passed against the Jaguars, but it looks like Carr and Olave are not in sync. He's looking like a grumpy old man on that Saints offense. The offense can't really get it together. And Dennis Allen, I feel like he doesn't really know what he's doing anyways. I don't know how he's still the head coach, but as long as they're losing games, he could be the head coach all they want to. Sorry, Saints. Next game talk about here, we have the Commanders versus the Falcons. The Commanders beat the Falcons, which I enjoyed as well. Falcons, they're using Kyle Pitts a lot more, using their receivers a lot more. Ritter's making plays a lot more, though they need to use Bijan a lot more. They're using Tyler Algier way too much. Bijan should have like 20+ carries. I know he's young. I know he's a rookie, but you drafted him really early, and I feel like he's ready for the load. He's pause. And I think he's been working up for it as playing how he played at Texas. I mean, he had the shiftiness and the explosiveness of like a young Reggie Bush. So you got to give him the ball and let him do his thing. But the Commanders have a little bit more skill-wise on their team, the receivers and their offense. I mean, the quarterback was good, webbing out Sam Howell when he's at North Carolina. So I don't know. He just looks different in that Commanders jersey. But this week he was able to put some drives together, make some things happen. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, speedsters out there doing their thing. And that was a good win for the Commanders, getting back on the winning track, beating the Falcons. And I got that prediction right as well. Colts versus the Jaguars. Jaguars put it on the Colts 37-20. Jaguars looking good, though. Trevor Lawrence did get a little hurt in that game, sprained his knee. They were able to come out with a victory. On the other side, Jonathan Taylor's finally getting his feet wet, getting the ball a little bit more, splitting time with Zach Taylor right now. Though Anthony Richardson is going to have season-ending surgery, and they're starting with Gardner Minshew, who actually killed the game for him this week, threw a whole bunch of interceptions. He looked terrible. I mean, even if the Colts had any sustainable drives, he was just turning over, throwing away far away from the receivers to a defender. Just some crazy shit, looking like Jimmy Garoppolo out there. Nah, that's messed up. Sorry, Jimmy, that's not even right, because he looked terrible. But yeah, the Jaguars are able to win, and I predicted that game right as well. Bengals were able to beat the Seahawks 17-13. Low scoring game, defensive game. Though Joe Burrow didn't necessarily look all the way back, he was able to get the victory over a ascending Seahawks team. You know what I mean? They're 3-1, 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. So getting that victory and bringing the Seahawks back down there was a good thing for everybody in the NFC. Bears versus the Vikings. I don't think Justin Fields played this game, or he got hurt in this game. So they had some quarterback, some backup quarterback. I don't know what his name is. People on Fantasy Football podcast, they're on Fantasy Footballers, they're calling him Bilbo Baggins, because his name kind of sounds like that. But I know his dad is some kind of world champion arm wrestler. But I guess that's all they really say about him. But the Vikings were able to win, despite not having Justin Jefferson. They were able to win 19-13. I suspected that to happen too, because the Bears suck. Browns, this is a surprise of the week, beating the 49ers 19-17. This game was interesting because Deshaun Watson didn't play. And I thought DTR was their backup, but I guess he's not their backup anymore. They went all the way down to PJ Walker. You guys know him from the Colts and from the XFL and stuff like that. He started for the Browns, but the Browns actually have an incredible defense, and they're able to hold the 49ers at bay. The 49ers actually experienced a bunch of injuries. Trent Williams got hurt. Deebo Samuels got hurt. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. I think Drake Greenlaw ended up getting hurt. So a bunch of injuries on a rainy day, kind of just proved too much for the 49ers, though the 49ers were in the game and could have won the game if Moody would have made the field goal at the last second, but he did shank a field goal to give the Cleveland Browns the victory and upset victory. So I know every other fan of every other NFC team, any other team that's been hearing all this 49ers hype was hella happy about it, but it was kind of tough because everybody was just looking for a game for Brock Purdy to slip, just kind of solidify that he's not a good quarterback. He's a systems quarterback. When everything's not perfect for him, he can't win. But I think that's kind of unfair because I mean, anybody in those given situations would have played bad. Raining games, people always play bad. We'll see what happens this week against the Vikings on Monday. We'll see if they can rebound and win that game because I know a lot of people are still going to be hurt. The Raiders versus the Patriots. The Raiders are actually able to get a victory over the Patriots. Patriots offense, I don't know. They can't really do anything. I don't know who the backup quarterback is for the Raiders because Jimmy Garoppolo is out with a back injury. I think it's McLaughlin or something like that, or whatever number four's name is. They were able to get the job done against the Patriots. I don't know if the Patriots are going to tank from now on, but Mac Jones isn't it. I think he threw another interception in this game, so I think they're thinking about the draft soon because if they lose another game this week, it might just be all she wrote, and Bill Belichick might be on his way out, and it might be ugly for the Patriots. Bucks and the Lions, make this one brief. We didn't play well. Home game, we previewed the creamsicles, and yeah, we couldn't get anything on offense going. We're missing plays. D balls. Baker was missing to Trey Palmer, our rookie, had a DB beat twice, missed them. A couple of drops by Mike Evans. Third down conversions we weren't able to get. We're still not able to run the ball on first down. Rashad White's being too patient behind that line. Offensive line can block their asses off in the pass block, but they can't seem to get any push in the run game. And we still try to be consistent with the run game, and it doesn't work. It's very annoying to me to keep trying to run the ball, and we can't. We might as well just keep passing the ball like we did with Tom Brady. We were successful with it, but the only thing about that was bad with Tom Brady is he couldn't move in the pocket when he got pressure. Baker Mayfield is actually one of the best quarterbacks when pressured this year and able to scamper and get first downs, impromptu kind of plays on the move. So I think that's something that we should kind of move towards. Our new offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, is saying he's going to open up the playbook a little bit more and try to get some more consistent things together. Again, we are first year quarterback with the Buccaneers, first time offensive coordinator with the Buccaneers, and like a new shifted around offensive line. Our right tackle's playing left tackle for the first time. Our right guard's playing right tackle. So a lot of stuff's going to be some growing pains. Luckily, we got some wind under our belt before they really hit. We just had our bye to get some injuries back. So, Kalijah Cansey, our first round pick, is actually playing now. So he's actually getting some pressure up the middle. So we'll see what happens. The Lions are on a high trajectory right now, 5-1. Offense is playing great. Offensive line's great. Defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson's playing great. Jared Goff is just having an MVP season right now. They play the Ravens this weekend. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So we'll see if he'll be able to continue that streak that he is on. But shoot, he's playing great, and their defense is great, playing great, offense playing great. Amon-Ra St. Brown had like 140 yards. Jameson Williams had a bomb, like 27-yard touchdown, even though our safety should have turned around and be able to play that ball. But that's neither here nor there. They were able to win 20-6. The way we were playing, we should have, we weren't able to score. They should have had way more than 20 points, but our defense is showing up this year and showing out with being healthy, and we're able to stop them from putting too many points on the board. Rams beat well, let me get back to this because I predicted the Vikings to beat the Bears. Yes, I didn't predict the Browns to beat the 49ers. No, I didn't predict that. I didn't predict the Raiders to beat the Patriots. I thought Bill Belichick would have his old, coordinator's number and know what Josh McDaniels was going to do, but nope, I guess it's not happening. I didn't predict the Lions to beat the Bucks, of course, but this one I did predict the Rams to beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals really were just kind of playing house money right now. Josh Dobbs, no James Conner, just Hollywood Brown out there making plays. Nobody else really. So them losing to the Rams wasn't really surprising. But it's a good win for the Rams, no? Everybody thought the Rams would be dead this year, losing a lot of players on their defense. But Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams got hurt, but him being a revelation for them as well. Matthew Stafford making nothing out of something like he always does in that McVay system. So they're looking pretty good. They won that game 26-9. Jets surprisingly beat the Eagles 20-14. Jalen Hurts looked bad this game, threw 3 interceptions. That Jets defense is real. But they're starting Zach Wilson, and you would never think that the Jets would be able to make enough plays to beat that highly heralded Eagles defense. But I guess they were able to do so. And it goes to show if you have a great defense and able to shut down the big plays and able to stop the run from that big ass offensive line that the Eagles have, and you're able to actually do something. and can make the game sloppy and get a win out of it. It was a good win for the Jets because, all the rumors about Aaron Rodgers coming back from the Achilles, Zach Wilson being so bad, trading for another quarterback, blah, 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 blah. This is probably a feel-good win. Beating one of the top teams, undefeated teams in the NFC, and it's a really good win. So good on the Jets. I did not predict that at all, though. Giants lost to the Bills 14-9 in a game that should have been a blowout, but the Bills play down to their competition all the time. We never know what Bills team we're going to get. The Bills team that could be an NFL champion or a Bills team that's barely going to beat the Giants, and they barely won 14-9 with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Which they look better with Tyrod Taylor, to be honest. Saquon was back. They're able to make enough plays to make it competitive, but a couple of games or a couple of plays that Tyrod kind of blew, the one going into halftime, and a couple of plays that he decided to make at the end of the game kind of cost him at the end. But it's kind of the thing you get when you get Tyrod. If you're not having a perfect game, if you're not winning by a lot, sometimes he can have these lapses that could fuck over a game. He'll play good enough until a big moment, and then they'll kind of mess it up and not be able to come through all the time. So that's been Tyrod's kind of thing his whole career, which made him like a lifetime backup. No shade, but that's what it is. Cowboys were able to get back on the winning charts, coming off a bye, or actually on the bye this week. So this was coming off that 49ers loss. They were able to win 20-17. Good win against the Chargers. Chargers aren't able to protect Justin Herbert. He already has a fractured left hand, middle finger on his left hand. So he's playing with a fractured finger, trying to, will the Chargers to victory, just getting Austin Eckler back for the first time. The receiving core is still kind of banged up, though. Keenan Allen, of course, is going to be the go-to guy. Mike Williams, of course, is hurt for the season. Josh Palmer is making plays, but Quentin Johnston, the receiver out of TCU, is just not making the plays that everybody thought he would. You know what I'm saying? We would think he would be in better positions now, making like a Jordan Addison kind of contribution to the team, but he's not. But the Chargers were able to get back on the winning side. Dak Prescott looked really good in the game. Able to make enough plays to do what he needed to do to get that victory and get the monkey off his back and get everybody off his back for another week, even though he is one of the most scrutinized quarterbacks in the NFL. He plays for America's team, and that's how it's going to kind of be. So you kind of have to expect that. But that was NFL Week 6. How many did I get right out of those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. That's not bad. 10 games out of that docket. I know it's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games. 10 out of 15 ain't bad. 10 out of 15 ain't bad. But I think this week we have like 6 teams on buys. So it'll be a smaller docket, but I do got some predictions for week 7. So let's go through those real quick. Jacksonville at New Orleans. New Orleans favored by 1. We saw that game. That game came down to the wire. But again, Derek Carr wasn't able to make enough plays. They almost came back and tied the game up at the end, but Foster Moreau, I'm sorry, brother. He dropped the pass in the end zone. He was wide open. It would have been a game to potentially tie it for the Saints, but they lost. But there's a lot of plays throughout the game that kind of lost it for the Saints. And they just check it down to Kamara 1,700 times a game and just kind of trying to move the ball downfield that way. Derek Carr doesn't even look for his other options. He just kind of checks it down every time. So when, routes don't connect and he throws bombs and the receivers aren't running full out to go get him, he knows why. They know why, because shit, you check it down every play and don't even look for nobody else. So what they think is going to happen is a check down. I don't know. Which results in Derek Carr yelling at everybody and blah, blah, blah. Jacksonville Jaguars were able to win. Trevor Lawrence with his knee brace was able to go out there and pick up the first downs that the Jaguars needed to win. They were blowing it. I mean, they came out and got off to a good lead. It was like 17 or 24-9 or some shit like that. And the Saints were able to come all the way back and almost win. But I think the Jaguars won 31-24 or something like that. But yeah, it was a good game. But yeah, we're not going to predict that game. Detroit is at Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 3. I got Baltimore in that game. Again, Lions are on a good run right now, but I think the Ravens are going to stop that run and win at home. The Ravens are getting on the roll as well, and I think this game will be showcased. Be a primetime game because, I mean, Lions are hot shit right now. So we'll see what the Ravens can do, but I got the Ravens at home. Las Vegas at Chicago. Las Vegas is favored by 3. I got Las Vegas in this game because I think the Chicago Bears are also starting Bilbo Baggins again. Cleveland is playing Indianapolis Colts, favored by 3 at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is starting Gardner Minshew again, and seeing what Cleveland Browns defense did to Brock Purdy last week. I think they'll be able to do a lot worse to Gardner Minshew. And Deshaun Watson's coming back too, so I got Cleveland in that game. The Bills are playing New England at New England, favored by 8.5 points. I got the Bills in this game as well. Fingers crossed, Bill Belichick can come out here and stop somebody and at least beat a division foe that he's familiar with seeing. Because if they lose again and in a bad, embarrassing fashion, it might be time to cut bait, start trading people, and just tanking for next season for real, for real. And that'll be embarrassing for that organization. But I got the Bills in that game. Commanders at the New York Giants. Commanders favored by 1.5 in New York. I got the Commanders in that game. Tyrod being started might give, the Giants a little bit more, give me cause to pause when picking the Commanders. But I think the Commanders will come out and win over the Giants in that game. We got the Atlanta Falcons at Tampa. Tampa's favored by 2.5. I got Tampa in this game, divisional game. I think we got what it takes to beat the Falcons. I know they may have a good defense and maybe to stop our run. I think our receivers are superior. I think we can beat Desmond Ridder from the defensive side. We can stop that, and we're good at stopping the run already. So hopefully, if they try to run the ball, Bijan or Algier, we can stop that and just kind of shut down the big receivers and Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, and Drake London. So I got the Buccaneers in that game at home to rebound from last week's loss. I got LA is playing at home against Pittsburgh. LA is favored by 3. I got LA in that game as well. Pittsburgh hasn't really been that good on offense. I don't know. Maybe the Pittsburgh's defense will be able to stop the Rams, but I just have a feeling that the Rams are on some kind of hype right now, and I think the Rams could do so and win that game. Arizona at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 7.5. Kyler Murray's back at practice, but he's probably not going to play until around Thanksgiving time. Arizona is kind of lowly right now. Seahawks are going to try to bounce back from that loss to the Bengals, and I think they're going to come back and win that game as well at home. Green Bay is playing the Broncos at home. The Packers are only favored by 1 for some reason. That's a little low spread there. I think the Green Bay Packers will handle business. If they lose to Denver, I think Jordan Love is going to be in real danger of losing his job. A lot of quarterbacks coming out in this year's draft, and I think he will be replaced if they don't beat the Denver Broncos with Aaron Jones coming back healthy and stuff like that. They should have no reason to lose to the Broncos. Nobody really has, except I think the Broncos beat somebody, but the team that they beat is sorry. So if you lose to a team, they got 70 points put on them. Boy, oh boy. And then we have the Chargers at Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 5.5. This is the best team that the Kansas City Chiefs have played in a couple of weeks, man. They've been playing a lot of these lowly teams that barely have any wins. Even though the Chargers kind of are considered one of those teams since they can't really close out any deals and win any games in the end, Staley is just kind of like blowing it for him all the time and play callers and stuff like that. My boy Justin trying to get wins out there, but they be getting hoed. But they play the Chiefs. I don't know. The Chiefs are struggling on offense, and though the Chargers have a bad defense, I think this is a team that's going to pressure them. The last couple of weeks, they haven't really looked that good as far as trying to separate from teams. So the Chargers are in every game. They never really get blown out. So this is really going to be a tough test for the Chiefs to actually put together a full game and stop going through the motions and put away a team that's kind of struggling to finish games. And you have a team that's going to be motivated to win because they don't really finish games, and this is their a good way to get back on the right track against a team that's again Super Bowl champion and headed by Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes versus Herbert's always a good show. But I got the Chargers. I'm gonna pick my boy. Miami at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favored by 2. It's a tough game to pick, but I got Miami in this one. I think their offense is going to be able to do what they want against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the running game maybe gets stopped a little bit, but I do think that passing game, Tyreek Hill, and that speed out there is going to be able to handle those DBs. I think they still have a couple of injuries out there at DB for Philadelphia, so I think Miami will get this game in Philly. And then San Francisco's playing the Minnesota Dolphins. The 49ers are playing the Minnesota Vikings at home. They're in Minnesota. 49ers are favored by 6.5. Again, they're coming back off that loss to the Cleveland Browns. So I think that they will have their shit together. Some of those injuries will get better by Monday, since they have a little extra time to get better and healthy. Again, Kirk Cousins in prime time is never really a good thing. Their offense is not really as good without Justin Jefferson or Dalvin Cook. So yeah, I don't know if this is the old Vikings that could win these one-score games and these close games all the time. This is a different team. And I don't know if it's their day. And I think the 49ers are going to come out angry and just get revenge on them and just blow them out. I got the 49ers. So to review all the games, I got the Jags at New Orleans. I got Baltimore at home versus the Lions. I got Las Vegas at Chicago. I got Cleveland Browns at Indianapolis. I got Buffalo at New England, Washington at New York. I got Tampa at home against Atlanta, Los Angeles at home against Pittsburgh, Seattle at home against Arizona. I got Green Bay at the Broncos winning. I got the Chargers winning at Kansas City. I got Miami winning at Philadelphia. I got the 49ers winning in Minnesota. So write those down. Let me know what I got. And if I was correct, and if I'm winning y'all some money again, I'm gonna post my Venmo somewhere up there, my Cash App. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James does it every Sunday. If you listen to me, man, I break it down a little bit too. I got a little breakdown for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, follow, and you can be in here and get these picks. You know what I'm saying? We need to get my homie Paul on here to talk about some prize picks because we go through that every day. Let me check my prize picks as I speak. It's Flex Friday. Prize picks. If you want to sponsor this podcast, I'll be gladly join the team. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what we got here. Prize picks, prize picks. Oh yeah, it was oh yeah. It was a bad day. It was a bad day. Good gracious. Good gracious. Yeah, exactly for your boy. But anyways, let me not get too drawn up in that. Let's talk a little NBA. But that was NFL Week 7 preview and the Week 6 review. But let's get into this NBA opening day preview. You already know what it is. Should I go do a cameras on them? Nah, I'll do dual cameras for Loki. I already spent time on the Lakers fan doing dual cameras for the promo. So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about NBA opening day. So we got Lakers versus Nuggets. This is ring ceremony. It's gonna be in Denver. Game is really hyped up. It's really hyped up because there's a lot you already know my spiel. The trash talk, the Lakers being mad about the sweep. I get it. You should be mad about it, but there's a lot of trash talk that came with it from our fan base and our coach. I feel like the animus shouldn't be taken out on our players and on our team. I just don't want. I just don't want to see it, man. It sounds like I'm scared, but it's not. It's just overwhelming. The media coverage and just the hearing and the fans just make everything that happens to the Lakers and anybody else involved just become the ultimate villains, and everything they do is just the wrong thing. It's just the way they spin it in the media, and I'm gonna have to hear about this stuff all week. I mean, Tuesday is the game. I cannot be happier for it to be over. I'm ready to drop our first banner ever, to get our first rings ever as a franchise, and I'm ready to go out there and play the game. It's just like any other game to us. I mean, it makes it special because it's a ring ceremony game. But it's like, damn, this. I hope there's no fights, no ejections, no extra foul calling, just because of all the hype that's coming up and the supposed bad blood between the teams. I haven't heard no words being spewed from any of the Nuggets players talking about any of the Lakers players. I just hear Lakers players talking about our coach, talking about our team, talking about what we did, what we gonna do to us. Like, I've heard Jamal Murray, I've heard Jokic, I've heard nobody except for KCP, who's been on both teams, talk about anything that the Lakers had to say about us winning the championship or us beating them in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Just be good sportsmen about it and just move on. Our coach just lost his dad. I'm not using that as an excuse because he was talking mess, but it's not the right time for all this beefing and so-called trying to build it up in a negative way, man. He's gonna be, he's gonna be on edge. He's probably gonna be still definitely still be hurting and recovering from the loss of his dad. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna be celebrating us getting rings and stuff like that. It's not time to make this about the Lakers or about how much they want to beat us or how much they hate us or how much beating us in this opening game matters. Like it's a little deeper for us. And I mean, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to be scared or say the Nuggets are gonna lose or nothing like that. I mean, it's the first game of the season. You already know me. If you know me and how I root for the Nuggets is I'm an optimistic guy. We're a good team. I watched our team grow from nothing to something, and I know what we can do. But I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna win every game. You know what I mean? Shit happens. Some teams have better nights, and some teams come out hotter and more motivated than other teams. I know we're gonna be motivated. I know we're gonna want to win for sure. But I know that the Lakers are gonna be playing like it's the championship game, and it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals because they want to prove that they're good enough to hang with us, and that sweep wasn't real, and all the stuff that we were talking during the playoffs isn't validated. It's just a lot, but I'm excited to see it, man. Tuesday, of course, we got double header, only 2 games, so we're gonna be the spotlight of the day. Got the Suns and Warriors coming up after that. Whole bunch of new additions. Chris Paul being an ex-Sun. Suns getting Bradley Beal and having a whole reworking of a team. Everybody thinks they're going to be something to deal with in the West. And then we have the restructured Warriors with Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, year 3 of Kuminga. So it's going to be a lot of stuff to see. A lot of storylines, a lot of stuff to go. And I'm ready. I'm really excited for, sports betting for regular NBA basketball is coming back. Again, man, I'm just really excited. I'm happy that we are one of the teams that are on display. I think we have like 22 primetime games this year. It's going to be really exciting stuff. I mean, I'm in for a really good season, 82 games. You got to play at least 60 something to be qualified for all these awards and stuff. My boy Jamal has to make an all-pro team, could be eligible for the Supermax for his next contract. So it's be a lot of up for stake, a lot of up we won a championship. There's no need to validate it by saying that, okay, we're good again, so we deserve to win a championship. We just had one of the most historic playoff runs in NBA history. So we validated, we stamped, you know what I'm saying? It's just so exciting to see. And I know all these teams of all these other fan bases are nipping at the bud to get another chance at a championship because they felt like that should have been them. You know what I mean? Them watching us play the Heat, they probably were not happy about it and not excited about it at all. But they get their chance on Tuesday to start off right, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see all the storylines. I'm excited to see everything. October 21st, 4th, TNT. I don't know who plays first exactly. I would assume probably Denver plays first because you got Suns and the Suns and the Warriors playing at Oracle, or not Oracle, at Chase Center, which is they can play probably like at 7 or probably start at 5 o'clock for the Nuggets and Lakers and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see how they flip it. They might just try to have LeBron in prime time and just put him at 7, but we all know. We don't know, but NBA is coming right at you, and we couldn't pass basketball. I would be remiss without congratulating the Las Vegas Aces on their back-to-back championship. They are 2023's WNBA champions. I'm a little salty because they beat Sabrina and the New York Liberty, but they deserve it, man. All these ladies have been performing crazy. Becky Hammon coaching crazy. Asia Wilson winning the MVP. Finals MVP, just having a crazy playoffs, crazy season after winning MVP last year, winning Defensive Player this year of the year, and being snubbed. I guess people think she was snubbed because B. Stewie, man, Stewie was not having a great playoff. She definitely didn't have a good closeout game. It was terrible, actually. So everybody's kind of chirping and saying that Asia kind of deserved to be MVP, and she proved it throughout the finals and the semifinals. Man, it was just it was crazy. Dallas didn't stand a chance against them, and they pretty much kind of just whooped up on the Liberty this whole series. The first game they were losing, came back, went on a crazy streak, smacked them the second game. Third game, Liberty got it. In this game, Liberty pretty much was winning the whole game, or well, was winning for a good portion of the game, and the Aces came back and just took it and talked they mess after. Back-to-back champions, could be three-peat. I'm excited to see when this Bay Area team starts over in 2025 out here, see what kind of players we can get on this team out here in the Bay. But exciting stuff, man. I was really intrigued by the WNBA this season. I'm not gonna lie. This was really my first year being super, super like involved in watching, following. Last year I kind of was when Sabrina's been on the Liberty for a little bit, but I've been following because of Sabrina. But now, since they made a good run in the playoffs after getting Breanna Stewart and stuff like that, I kind of started following a lot more. And a lot of players, I like the vibes, I like the culture. I like the involvement of the NBA players and everybody else's involvements and kind of seeing what's going on there and trying to get involved. I love it. I love to see it. But yeah, shout out to Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to Becky Hammon. Shout out to everybody. And, I'm saying Becky Hammon's just out there proving that she could coach an NBA team one of these days. And hopefully she does get more interviews and has the opportunity, especially if she wins another championship. Three-peat, crazy. Fantasy football wise, let's go over this best of bias invitational score breakdown for week 6, I believe it is. Week 6. Yeah, week 6 for sure. I beat Hot Boys to get back in the, top 3, second place right now. I won 142 to 107. Just a running back living paycheck to paycheck. Yancey was actually able to get another victory, boy. That's what I'm talking about. 132 to 190, or excuse me, 132 to 92 over K-Swag 27. K-Swag, man, you got to get it together. You're dropping right now. Cam's Catering lost to Shenanigans 100 to 118. Cam's Catering losing a couple in a row too, man. Started in first place. Now you're dropping a little bit, player. Pay Dirt lost to Sean's championship team. Another good win for Sean's championship team, 131 to 93. Dijon's dazzling team was able to get a win over You're Not the Boast of Me, a smacking. Whoa, come on, Sean, what's up with your team? 68 points, 141 to 68. Armpit was able to get another victory and remain in first place, 146 to 107. Good victory in the standings for that league. Let me get them up here for y'all so y'all can know what's popping. What's popping? What's popping? Let me see. Mucho dinero. Hell yeah. Let's go league. That's not what I pressed. I said league. So in first place, we have Derek and Team Armpit at 5-1. Second place, you got me at 4-2. Third place, you got John and the Hot Boys at 4-2. Fourth place, we got Cam's Catering. That's Kev at 4-2. Fifth place, we have Dijon's Dazzling Team at 3-3. Sixth place, we have Nightmare on G Block at 3-3. Seventh place, we have Shenanigans, which is Deshaun at 3-3. Sean's championship team, which is Sean M. We got you at 3-3. Ninth place, we have Paydirt, which is Jason at 2-4. 10th place, we have K-Swag at 2-4. Come on, Kyle. You're not the boast of me, Sean, at 2-4, and then just a running back living paycheck to paycheck. Actually, it was only your first win this week. So yeah, 1-5, my guy. But it's not over yet. Everybody down at the bottom can switch it up. 3-3 is really close. 2-4, it's one win away. Everybody just separated by 2 wins. You know what I mean? So anything could happen. Nobody give up. Still weeks and weeks and weeks to go. Everybody will play each other. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great season. The prize, man, it's $1,200 in prizes that are available. So don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get it up, get ready, get in that waiver wire. If you keep losing, if you're early in the waiver wire, get you somebody. Be listening to podcasts, do your research because there is money on the line. $900 for first place, $200 for second place, and then third place, you get your money back. Simple as that. $100 buy-in this year. It's a good competition, man. Johnny Mac 650 is on here. Talk about his team a little bit a couple weeks ago. I need more players from the league to get out here and get their teams on the map. Talk a little bit more about the season and how they're enjoying it because fantasy football is all the rage right now. I'm in 4 leagues and, I'm in second place in all of them. You know what I'm saying? Making that push, not in first place, but it's each week you got to make those steps to getting better, to getting to that ultimate goal of being in first place, getting first and second place for those buys in the playoffs. If you're playing, half the team makes it. If not, only one team is going to make it. 2 teams are going to play each other and yeah, it gets really crucial. I'm in a 14-team league. I don't know how that's going to break down in playoffs, but it's going to be really interesting to see. But fantasy football is in full effect. Week 6, about to be week 7. Man, get your shit together. Best of Bias Fantasy Football Championship 2003. Who's going to get that belt this year? Who's going to get their name etched on that belt? Who's going to take home the toilet trophy? Which person are you going to be? Person that gets the money in the belt or you that gets last place and gets that toilet trophy? That's a shitty situation. You don't want to be there. But yeah, and let's lastly move on into the cinema corner. And this is where I think I'm gonna do my dual cameras, bro. This is where I think this is where I'm gonna talk to the people about what I think. So bear with me, people up here. I'm gonna look down here for a second for the Instagram folks, but I ain't gonna forget about y'all. I call this segment the dual camera effect. Damn, I don't know what's going on here. Get the hell out of my way. Let me be great. Dual cameras. Loki season 2 is out right now. If you ain't checking it out, I know what you doing, man. Episodes 1, 2, 3. I'm about to review them. Spoiler alert. So I'm sorry. If you're here right now, you're about to get spoiled. Episodes 1 through 3. I think it's top notch right now. We're jumping right back into the season where we left off. Loki is trying to figure out what's happening with the TVA after he killed He Who Remains, after Sylvie killed him, I guess. And they just jumped into this and, into the season now. He's kind of warping back and forth between future and present. We don't really know what's going on with him. He's just time jumping everywhere. He's not able to sustain anything. Mobius doesn't know who he is. So he's trying to figure out his stuff in episode 1. And it's a really cool episode, man. They get right into the business. They need to fix, these timelines and figure out what's going on, or else, He Who Remains gonna come back and all these timelines are gonna go spin out into, all out non-controllable situations. But they have Ouroboros, what I'm saying? Short Round from Indiana Jones makes his appearance. We saw that he is a big part of the show, and he's a great addition to the show. His acting, his lovability as a character, just giving the show a whole bunch, is giving a little comedy aspect and the quirkiness that we still need with Loki. And it's not really taken away from the storyline. I like how we're back and we're kind of just getting right back into the plot of things. We saw how we were waiting to see the fallout from Sylvie actually killing He Who Remains. But we do find out that the TVA has some other sinister plans in mind. You know what I mean? They see what's going on with this branching timelines after He Who Remains killed, but they don't care about that. They have a way to fix that. They say they take a whole bunch of bombs and a whole bunch of pruning mechanisms to all the branching timelines and just starts killing people off, which is an interesting concept because the people weren't real before you started these branch timelines, you know? So why do we care so much about them being killed from the TVA's perspective? It's just kind of weird. But I mean, morality, I get it. People in TVA have it. So they find this a problem that though they kill He Who Remains, the timelines are spiraling out of control, and there's still sinister people behind the TVA kind of doing shit behind the scenes to keep He Who Remains legacy going. We think it's Ramona, Renslayer behind the scenes, and Miss Minutes kind of making them, the TVA agents go and just hold out the secret mission that Mobius knows nothing about, Loki knows nothing about. But they just go on this pruning mission, killing off a whole bunch of people, and they actually are pretty successful. They start pruning all these branches, blowing up, killing all these people. But you know what I'm saying, to be able to fix it and stop these people from dying and actually, I think the timeline, get it back to a one concurrent timeline, they have to do a bunch of shit by bringing He Who Remains back from the past to the TVA to fix the shit that was broken when they killed He Who Remains and they started bombing all the timelines, if that makes sense. Because in the first episode, we did see Loki kind of time slip, and they Ouroboros found this machine down in the basement that nobody ever goes to, and kind of found a way for Loki to stop time slipping. They had to pull him out of the time stream after he was pruned or some bullshit like that to be able to get his real self back in the TVA and stop time slipping and stuff like that, which was really cool, I thought, because I thought he was going to be time slipping the whole show, every episode, and that was kind of going to be the basis of the show, which was going to kind of get exhausting. But no, they just kind of used that one episode to kind of set up what's going on now. We have to go back in the past to help this guy remember how to make this thing, to make a thing, to help us make this thing, to do this thing. And it was taken care of in the first episode. I like that a lot. Though I thought Mobius was going to die and not get back through the blast doors before Loki, came back and knocked him through the doors. I thought it was over for him and Loki because Loki wasn't going to get pruned in time. But somebody came up behind him and kind of pruned him and just kind of was able to make him come back and was able to be latched to I forgot what the machine was called that they made and made in 50 seconds, or Boris made in 50 seconds. But yeah, it was a cool little scene. It was good to see that, that Mobius didn't die. And it was interesting to see the stakes so high in the first episode. But I mean, just because they got back in through those blast doors and were able to save Loki doesn't mean everything was saved. Once they did get back and those new timelines started expanding and pruning, and they started exploding and pruning them, the timeline started overloading and the blast doors wouldn't open and they couldn't go out there and actually fix, Ouroboros can go out there and fix what was messed up and save the TVA, because eventually if the TVA kept going, I forgot exactly what happened. They would overreact and the timeline that they were in at the TVA would be destroyed and everybody there would die. I guess so all the timelines would just die out or some crazy shit like that. So in order for them to open the blast doors and actually prevent that from happening, they needed He Who Remains from the past, because his Aurora or whatever was the only thing that can stop the machine from overloading and killing everybody. I think I'm right in that instance. So in the second episode, we actually are chasing one of the new kind of TVA agents through this time that he kind of went and stayed in to try to find Sylvie. Are we finding Sylvie again? I think we're just finding Sylvie because she killed He Who Remains and she's dangerous at this point. I don't necessarily know why we're looking for Sylvie. I don't remember exactly. But they do end up finding Sylvie and trying to get her to come with them to help them save the TVA for the situation that's going on. But in episode 3, that kind of those motivations change a little bit, and they end up getting a time link with Ramona's time jumper, so they know where Ramona is and Miss Minutes is, who kind of are up to no good as well and can help them get some information about either He Who Remains or how to find He Who Remains or fix the situation that's happening with the TVA in that timeline. And all this leads up to episode 3, where we do see Ramona and Miss Minutes give He Remains when he's young, or Victor Timely at this time, when he was young, the TVA manual written by Ouroboros to help him create these machines to eventually create the TVA and everything kind of get back to how it was, even though that He Remain dies, which kind of brings back what He Remain said. He's like, if you kill me, the worst variants of me are going to come and be created based on like a spin-off ripple effect of what you're doing to me in the future. Uh, yeah, or some weird shit like that. So now we have this Victor Timely guy who is motivated by I guess himself and instructions that he gave Miss Minutes and Ramona to go ahead and do in case of his death. Which is interesting, man. It's interesting that He Who Remains is the guy who runs everything and is in charge of the TVA, when it seems like Ouroboros is the guy who wrote everything and has all the laws and kind of knows everything about the time stream and is the one that can really save and kind of do everything. So it's just interesting that he's stuck in a basement somewhere tucked away, and Ramona and He Who Remains were the people that were running everything. When in actuality, he's running everything because of the book that Ouroboros wrote in the past. And that's who Victor Timely was looking up to when he was making his inventions. He was like, this dude Ouroboros, man, he's the shit. He's like he knows everything about time travel and everything like that. And this is the guy that I look up to. But it's like, once he gets back to the TVA, I don't know. It just seems like a little tricky. I think it seems like once he got the book, I think part of the instructions for Miss Minutes and Ravona were eventually to get him back to the TVA so he can see what's going on, learn about it, and kind of eventually just take it over again, which I think is going to happen. Heavy spoilers again. I was watching the review videos, and they have a theory that maybe Ouroboros is actually a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Was pushed to the side by Kang, and He Remains, and he actually feels like he's the one that should be running the TVA. He wrote everything. He created everything, and it seems like his mind wasn't erased either because he was able to remember, stuff from the past. And when Loki jumped to the past and talked to him in the past and talked about Mobius in the past, when he jumped back to the future, he remembered. So maybe his mind wasn't erased in the middle, so that he's one of the people that are actually not mind wiped and doesn't know what's going on upstairs. He's just always been tucked away downstairs. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. We're only 3 episodes in. Okay, shit. But that's what I think is going on. But we did end up seeing towards the end, the variant came back, and Sylvie said if she saw any variants of He Who Remains, she's gonna make the decision to kill him because she knows what he can do and she knows his threats and what he said was gonna become of the world if she let any of the variants live. But ultimately, she let Loki convince her to let him live and them take him back to the TVA. It looked like she was going to stay and kill Ramona because Ramona had this whole power trip thing to where they weren't going to let Mobius and Loki take Victor Timely back to the TVA to try to save the world because she felt like she should be running everything. And she thought that, the betrayal of Victor Timely earlier in the episode was just proof to that she should be running everything, and she'd rather kill him than, let them take him back there and just let everything go how it's supposed to be, because shit, he is selfish. And it just seems like, again, from heavy spoilers, that something happened in the past and this may have happened before, and she's just now realizing his personality again, that, this variant of He Remains or Kang is still self-centered. And just like in the past when they were together, he cut her off and mind wiped her so he didn't remember what was going on, and she was, running the TVA as a puppet while he behind the scenes kind of was doing everything and running everything. So yeah, and we saw at the end when Miss Minutes said, I'm gonna tell you something, but you're gonna be really mad. And after Miss Minutes got denied by Victor Timely and didn't want to be his girl, or didn't want to be her boy, her boyfriend. That was on some weird shit by the time. Like AI did the whole flubber thing, which was kind of weird. Just AI wanted to be a human's girlfriend, wanted to get a body so he can have sex with it. I don't know if they wanted to go that far, but it seemed like that. It was kind of weird. But in the end, ultimately, there's no end credit scene for this episode. They did get Victor Timely to the TVA, but I ultimately don't think that's going to be a good thing. I think once he gets there, he's going to start asking hella questions, writing hella shit down. He knows more than he assumes. And then he's going to become unstoppable because the knowledge that he gains and the future is going to change. And I don't know. Time is just working, and time travel is working a little bit different than they said before, but we'll see what happens. But episodes 1 through 3 have been good so far. It comes on every Thursday at like 6 o'clock I usually watch a little bit of the NFL Thursday night football game and just switch to it at 6 o'clock and just watch and see what happens in there, and then go and record and talk to y'all and review the pod. Or well, I haven't reviewed the episodes yet, but I just want to give y'all episode 1 through 3 a little synopsis because I haven't talked to y'all about it. We're gonna get more people on probably eventually to talk about it. Probably Damo, of course, aka some of the people that I talk to more so on the shows and kind of get a more in-depth kind of viewpoints from them too. Just kind of seeing what they felt about the episode and how they feeling, and I think we're going in the right direction because there's a lot of shit about the MCU that's gonna start happening. A lot of rumors that are happening after Deadpool and Secret Wars. There's gonna be a reset of the MCU and a whole bunch of shit's gonna happen, and all this stuff kind of sets that up. Time and Loki and the Marvels. I'm still gonna go see the Marvels, though I don't really want to. But a lot of this stuff, I feel like it's gonna be connective tissue. I'm excited to see Tobey Maguire, you know what I'm saying, coming back and lead the X or lead the Avengers and Secret Wars, and it's limitless capabilities. And I think this is a start. Loki is kind of back to the um scheduled TV programming that we like from Marvel, the MCU and Disney Plus when it was in its heyday with WandaVision and Loki was out season 1. This is actually the first season 2 of those shows that are dropping. So, you know what I'm saying, let's see if we can get a good turn out a good story. I think it's only 6 episodes, so you know how that works. You know, they be trying to tie up hella loose ends and not really getting through all of it by 6 episodes. So hopefully I can do that in this episode or this season and just keep building on this and just get the MCU right. Because I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you, James Gunn is about to have this DCU right. I'm telling you, if they take Jason Momoa and make him Lobo, I tell you, the game is over. Like the game is about to be over. You better hurry up and announce this Fantastic Four stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Marvel guy. I'm telling you, I'm not going to convert or nothing, but the days of people saying that Marvel is light years ahead of DCEU, when it turns into DCU, I think they're going to have, it's going to get a little closer. It's going to get a little closer. In the MCU, they're trying to water us down with some crazy shit that we don't want. If the DCU gives us a whole bunch of shit that we do want on the level that we do want it, that we didn't get from the Snyderverse, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And then lastly here, Gen V, if you guys have been watching that on Amazon Prime, it's a spinoff of The Boys. We're at episode 6 now. Crazy shit going on in there. I'm not going to review it, but I feel like you guys should be watching it. If you guys like The Boys, if you like the extremeness of The Boys, if you like the violence, the randomness of The Boys, you'll like Gen V. But I just feel like Gen V is like a copy of some shit we've seen before. It's just a formula. It's kind of formulaic, kind of slow. Um, it's not as crazy as Doom Patrol, but it kind of gives me Doom Patrol vibes, especially this last episode when they went inside people's minds and shit like that. I feel like it may be too expensive to like display superpowers and shit like that in every episode, so they kind of try to like dumb it down sometimes and give you kind of like mundane shit, filler episodes, if you will. But check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. I think that comes out every Thursday as well. Double that up and then go watch be ready for next week's the challenge, man. The regular challenge, no challenge USA, no all stars. This is the regular stuff with all the people you know and love. So a lot of TV out there right now to watch. Go watch Gen V, go watch Loki, go watch the challenge, old challenge and the new challenge. The finale of Challenge USA just came on Wednesday or Thursday too. Damn, everything came out Thursday. So go watch that and get ready for the challenge coming out October. I don't know exactly what day, but it's next week. I think I don't want to say 24th, the same day as the opening day, but I want to say probably Thursday of next week is when it's gonna come out. But yeah, man, that's the end of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? This is where I like to let you know where you can find your boy at. You can find me SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. I'm just regular old Patrick. Know what I am. I think I'm maybe like Patrick Lydell on X as well. Yeah, if you're looking for anything podcast related, just type it in the Instagram is Best of Bias. You'll see Growly, you know what I'm saying, right up there. Click like, subscribe, all that on the YouTube Best of Bias podcast. You'll see us up there. Almost 200 videos, clips, and full episode videos. Go check out the Anime Kumite Tournament Part 2. Yeah, we dropped a promo for that. It's in the tournaments tab on the YouTube. If you go to YouTube and click on tournaments, we have part 1, which was the main characters of the shows, and then we did Anime Kumite part 2 tournament, which was the side characters of the anime show. So just 2 of the tournaments so far. We're gonna do plenty of those. Just go check those out. Crazy edits, crazy clips, and crazy, it was a crazy tournament. Go see who wins right now. Episodes 180, I think it was, and I think a couple episodes before that we had the the first tournament. So go check all that stuff out. Hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a comment on there for us too. Tell us what you want to see, what topics you want to see, what guests you want to see back, because we have plenty of guests that we had on the podcast. We just want to know from y'all who y'all like, who y'all favorite is, who y'all want to see back. Chelsea soon, Johnny Mac again soon, Damo soon, aka of course is coming back soon. All your favorite guests and plenty more guests. Ashwash, B Rhymes, Amber and Yancey. Everybody's coming back. Everybody will be on the pod very, very, very soon. Go get you some merch, all kind of merch. I showed you guys the new stuff that we had. Let me just pull out one of the new hats right now. One of the new truckers. We added the lightning bolts to it. You know, Growly got the lightning powers on the shirts and stuff, so we added the lightning bolts to the hats and stuff as well. Got a bunch of stuff still available, so hit me up. Instagram, DM, anywhere you find me at. You can ask about the products so that I can get those to you. Let you know pricing. Hats right now, I'm doing a special 25 if you pick it up, 34 shipped. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more for the shipping. But hit me up if you want some of that. Again, Saturday, I'm sorry it's not Friday. Sometimes it gets a little fishy when I can drop these podcasts, but this should be out like afternoonish, I would say, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30 on Saturday, right in the middle of college football. I'll be watching the Oregon game. Hope you guys are too, but it's the Best of Bias podcast. It's your boy rocking a nice little BBC shirt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if y'all like BBC, go get you some. Go get you some Best of Bias merch too, and go get you some Sabrinas. It's the Best of Bias podcast where everything is good and the bias is the limit. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Lydell Dinero. Come back. We'll be back next week. New listeners, thank you. Old listeners, it's always been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. We out of here. Where that theme song at? Happy Friday, happy Saturday, happy Sunday. Whenever you listen to this, happy day, whatever that day that is. Go Nuggets. Go Oregon. Go Buccaneers. Sports Equinox, baby. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah.